All right. So right now I'm going to continue my astrological age readings. I'm going to do the age of Leo. This is the next sign that I've been guided to do. Eventually I'll get to do all 12, but I've been trying to let my guides tell me which ones they want me to do first. I'm using the Cairo Marchetti Legacy deck, and I'm going to use the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. The way that I've been doing these readings is I'll end up just doing a quick scan of research of the time in history where the last astrological age was, and then get an idea of when the next one's going to be. It has to do with the precession of the equinoxes and the way the zodiac signs rotate around the earth in a wheel. That's what Hamlet's Mill is about. I haven't read that, but that's what it's about. And I like to get some cards for the last age, some cards for the next age, and then some connector cards to see what the bridge is. It's kind of like the reading I have that's called Roadblock Moguls, where I'll have like the highest self, and then the 3D self, and then like the middle high self. So basically, if you wanted to get a reading like this, the most similar would be the Roadblock Moguls. And those are all going to be in the information for that is going to be in the box and in the video outline for the infomercial video. I put a link to the infomercial video in the description box of all the videos, and then I put a link in the comments as well, just to make it a little bit more expedient to find it. And I still don't know really where I'm supposed to look, because maybe if I move myself over here, I don't know. I'm not always looking at the camera because of reasons. Anyway, I've already cleared and shuffled these, but I'm going to get, somewhere around 3 or 4 cards for the last age of Leo. There's one that flopped out right now. And the last age of Leo would have started around 11,000 years, or somewhere at the end of the 10,000s of years. I think it was BC. Challenge card. Yeah, it would have been around like 10,900 BC to around 8-ish or 9,000 BC. And we find in the age of Leo, because it's represented by its ruling of the sun, that those would be the ages where you would have sun worship, you'd have a lot of lion symbolism, you'd have lion mythologies, lion statuary, lion gods. That you would, like Sekhmet, you'd have the Sphinx either being built either in that age of Leo or in a previous one, which would have been, like 35,000 years ago if it was older than that. We'd be seeing the sun disk a lot, the circle with a dot in the middle. Okay, so I'm getting another card for the past. I'm going to flip that. Just hold that there. Oh, that's not even the right band. Orange band. Okay, so let me grab a couple of oracle cards for the The last one I did on the table, and I didn't do it live, and I spread out all the cards first, but my desk doesn't have as much room, so I'm gonna just do one layer at a time here. A couple of Shaman Oracle cards for the previous age of Leo. Also, my internet tends to cut out every time I do a live, and it just takes a minute to get back to itself. So, I have nothing coming out yet. Oops! There's like a couple of them chuck out. Is that it? Okay. Is that it? Holy. It's like, don't call them out for not talking, because they will throw the whole deck at you. Really want the whole friggin' pile? Alright. I brought the book over because I might need it. I'll leave those in a stack for now. So let me get to the... There's like 8 frickin' shaman cards. Okay. Alright, so the first card that came out was the High Priestess. So there's the Libra symbol here. There's a moon. There's 2 swords here. Wait, is that? That's not the High Priestess. My bad. It's the 2 of Swords. It's the low vibration High Priestess. Okay, so we've got the moon. We've got some fiber optics. We've got a scarf over the eyes and a mask. We've got the moon and a star. And the 2 swords. I was getting a song. Hold on. Okay. So this is an age where they're using their intuition, but they're balancing it with the material world. It's saying, I'm not going to follow only my intuition. I'm going to use rational thought as well. And I can travel out of body and use the sun as a wormhole to go out further into the universe. There are accessible truths there. The challenge is justice, which is more balance. And here it's, I think it's Gemini, but I could be mistaken. There's more Libra on here as well. So it's like, if you expand your world too quickly, you're going to fall out of balance and end up blind by not listening to your intuition. The sword here still has the stars, but then we have the other half of the brain here with the thinking, with the scrolls, hard factual knowledge. We need to write it down now, what we're learning in this golden age, because gold has to do with the sun and the lion. We need to write down what we're doing in this golden age before we lose our intuition, because the world ahead of us won't be able to divine the information. And in that is our contract with the future. This card, I don't even know what it is yet. The sun. So here we have the solar system, and then the sun is just huge in this planetarium, kind of holographic. And then a Leo again. There's an Aquarius up here, and then a Sagittarius. So I think the Aquarius figure here is here because the Aquarius is the star card, and the sun is a star. So we have this guy down here. He's worshiping the sun. He's learning information about the planets out there, and then planetary motion. He's an astronomer, but he's also got the wheel of the zodiac down here. So he's cataloging the precessional cycle, and he knows that it works like a machine because there's a machine down here. And then is that it? He looks kind of like a depictions of Egyptian priests. You can't really see it, but he's bald and he's got like a necklace, like one of those collar necklaces on, and he's got robes. He's in this sort of secluded area. He's like the mystical priesthood, where not everybody back then would have known this information, which is why they wrote it down, because everybody now is going to be able to know it, where we're at in history now. We have the Queen of Coins, which is the Queen of Pentacles inverted. So we know that we're going to be, the physical world is going to be heading into a place where their intuition is going away. They won't be able to connect to their third eye as they get more involved in just gold and things and having them. But what came out as a challenge is the devil. So it is, on the outside, it's about the gold and the magnificent building, the construction, the wealth. What can I have? Where's my stuff? We're in a material world. But on the down low, we're still practicing this grand knowledge. It's all about preparing for descent into darkness, where the taskmaster says, sleep. There's all the symbols of the elements here, so it's like it's like black magic. It's like oh, I can't remember. It's like either Black Sabbath or Ozzy singing something about black masses. So I should point out that when the Age of Leo started was when the sea level rose like 300 feet because of the ice cap melt. Okay, so I got for the oracle cards for the last Age of Leo, I got the Beloved. This is a 5, and I always get the sense that it's like a combination of, oh, I'm getting the Lovers and the High Priestess. but it's very red. It's a root. This root energy with the heart symbol. It's like the two lobes of the brain and the pineal gland. So let me just skim this real quick. That's not the page that I wanted. Okay, so this is still a point in time where people are seeing living spirit in each other, and they're coming from a place of love and understanding and togetherness. And then we ramp it up from a 5 to a 15 with the drum. So for me, it's like a war. I'm hearing like war drums, like something is coming. Prepare yourself. But it's not in a frightening way. It's like this eagle cloak that he's wearing is saying, we see what's happening from a higher perspective when we know that the times call for this shift, which is why we're preparing. And just like that loud motorcycle, the information is going away. There's a hint of a moon in this drum disc here. It's like we're putting away the knowledge and leaving it to rest, because the drums are changing the vibration and night is coming. The dark night of the soul. Let's take a look at this real quick. Oh, I keep looking at the page number, not the card number. Sorry for my voice. I'm having some things here. Yeah. Yeah, it's helping you journey to the lower world. And there's this like movement into animalistic energy from the state of heightened prophecy into an animal energy, which has to do with just base living. That's not what it says here, but I'm skimming for keywords because it has to do with this literally gold age, preparing for the next astrological ages, which have to do more with the darkness. Yeah. So they know there's a rhythm to the grand cycle of things, and instead of fighting it and saying, well, we don't want to have any descent in consciousness, we're going to prepare for it and leave a plan ahead of time, to the point where, you know, this is the age that we want people to discover first, so that they are really impressed and they want to come and learn more once people start getting enlightened. So we're going to write it down, we're going to leave it, we're going to plan it, and we're going to just go with the flow of the way that the energies are shifting. We're going to listen to this rhythm from the drum beat. So we have the moon here, 37, which is a completion. So we have this idea of, we know there's going to be a completion as the moon, I was going to say secretes things. It's like you secret them away, and then later on in the moon phase, it secretes them back out again. secret secretion. And there's a woman here, and she's wearing red because of her secret secretions as well. Take that how you want it. Like, again, for me, it's this idea of we know the phase is coming when things are going to be hidden and then flow out again in a complete cycle of a complete yuga cycle. So let's take a look at this real quick. 37. Yeah, steady progression from darkness to light and then back again. Has an impact on the psyche. Oh, see, it has a strong influence on the ebb and flow of waters on the earth, and that has to do with the last age of Leo, with the rising water from the glacial melt. Dramatic sea rise. Yeah, so we have the sun worship in the age of Leo, and then we have the moon in the darkness to give you the other half of the cycle. So we're using this sunny male side and the dark female side of the yin yang, because they know, where the hell, that there has to be this balance and justice. It's a challenge. It says here, have you spent too much time hidden from the outer world, not wanting to interact or show your face? And look at that. We're not showing our face in this Two of Swords card. It's like we're burying the information because of the moon cycle. Yeah. All right, so I had this stack fall out together, these other three here. I have 60, the Vision Quest, 61, Water, inverted. Can't possibly imagine what that would mean. And then Taming the Wind. I kind of remember what this one is, but not really. So 55, so we have this sort of divine timing and programming, a number of 11 with change. We have 61 inverted, Water, which is 7 together would be the Chariot, which would be movement again, and intuition, but here it's being turned on its head. So we're dropping our intuition and we're over our head in water, physically, literally. And then we have 60, the Vision Quest, so 6, that would be, it would be the Lovers, but it would be the choice or the union of the male and female halves of the brain, which would make sense, because if you're going to journey out of your body to get information, you need to be balanced or you are going to get eaten alive by whatever entities want to feed off of you. We have this huge sun disk here. This is the era where we're getting these visions. We're going out of body. We're traveling. We're getting as much information as we can so we can write it down and hold on to it, because we're going to need it. It's like the sun disk, but it's all water. Steam, sun and water together. Steam creates, and then water and sun creates life. So, all right, so let me just skim over these. I'm going to start with Taming the Wind. So 55. 55. The amount of times I've gotten this card, you think I'd be able to remember? Oh, the feather. Okay. So, clearing ceremonies. The sacred commitment you make to life. So the sun and the moon to get the water together creates life, and this is a commitment to it. It's bringing the spiritual into the material, which is what I've been saying for this whole reading. Mm-hmm. Hmm. So it's in a challenge, it's upside down, which means that there's an imbalance, which is why the Justice card was on its side. So people are writing things down, but they're not communicating that well with each other. It's it says good things come out of this restraint of tongue and pen. So I get this idea of there's some conflicts that started, and things that were written down might have lost some of their spiritual um, it's like it's like if you write it down and the symbolism is lost on people because they take it literally, and then they start screaming at each other about it, which we see happens because there was a huge deal going on, um, especially by the time of Akhenaten, you know, many thousands of years later after this descent, where he was trying to move into the next astrological age, and the priesthood was like, no, because they wanted their money. So 61 on the water. Okay. Evolutionary shift from former self to new self. So here this is an evolutionary shift, but we're actually in a descent. And then it says here, many myths around the world speak of a great flood and the new life that is revealed after a deluge. So it's definitely speaking about that global rise in sea level and then life, because water and sun creates life. Okay, so we're acquiring limitations in our ability to perceive, to feel, and to intuit. Okay. So the ensuing ages are going to be get messier. There's going to be sort of unwanted energy and like the birthing of monsters, as it were. But it's part of this cycle. It's like we know that things are going to be turned on their head, but eventually, after we go through these cycles and clear out the detritus of, you know, lack of intuition, of anger, of fighting, of competition, of materialism, that things will be cleansed, and then life will come through again, and it will come back with the intuition. It's like turning the wheel. So this vision quest here. So it's facing fear and embracing mortality. So it's a very, instead of being afraid of a descent from the golden age, you know you're going to die, you know you need to get out there and get these visions, you need to get out there and talk to spirit and get that information and have it down, so that when people start coming back up, they'll have this perspective and they'll be like, oh my god, there's all this stuff out here. They're setting an intention to leave gateways for spiritual guidance, for portals to higher knowledge. They're setting this intention to create access. When people start realizing they need it, before they're able to really get to a place where they could get it themselves. It's like we're going to leave these training wheels for the next age by doing all this work now. Okay, so I believe Leo is opposite from Aquarius. We're heading into the age of Aquarius now because the precessional cycle is it's like 25,900 years or something like that. It's going to take or 25190, something like that. It's going to be, you know, another 12,000 years before we hit another age of Leo. All right, so in the interim, though, we can take a peek and find out what's going to be happening then. So let's get some cards for the next age of Leo here. And a sip of water. Ooh! Those just really want to fly right out. Oh my god, that one almost bent. They're kind of coming out sideways. I guess it's all challenge. That one. Any other cards for the next age? No? Okay. So I'm going to get a couple of shaman cards for the next age. And also, I want to point out that because of the like fractal holographic nature of the universe, that even if the reading is on the astrological age, it can do with it can be just one cycle of the smaller wheel, you know, like in the 12-month zodiac months instead of ages. So instead of the age of Leo, you could read it for Leo like right now this month. Or if you're a Leo, it could be something you have to work on. Like I have, my moon is in Leo, so the idea that moon energy is coming out in this Leo reading probably has something to do with what I need to focus on. Or it could be, you know, if you get a tarot reading and the Six of Wands pops up, and there's usually, it usually has to do with Leo, you could say like, oh, well, maybe I should really take a look at what cycles of intuition and materialism I have in my own life that will get me there. All right, so let's see if we've got some shaman cards for the next age of Leo in about 12,000 years here. Also point out that the alignment of the shafts in the Great Pyramid have to do with the position of the belt stars of Orion in 10,500 BC. That's Robert Bauval's work, and in conjunction with Graham Hancock, and that would be exactly this time period. Whether it was built then or not, that's when it's aligned to. So I've got 4 shaman cards, and I think that's it for that. So let's take a look at what popped out. These are kind of all came out sideways in a challenge. So the next age we have 8 of Wands. So our challenge is communication and rapid change. Okay. So if we think we're in an information age now, when we get to the next age of Leo, people are going to have to, it's like your communication is so fast that you're not even texting, it's just solid telepathy. We have this sort of hazy clearing. There's an arch in the sky with the archer Sagittarius. So he's sending that arrow flying. There's a message attached to it, and it's time to change, get moving. And that's an 8, which is, it's giving that nod to the Strength card, which is also a lion. So the next card we have here is the Fool in reverse. So we're in a challenge position. Change, new start to this change. We've got a bunch of cards here starting out on this time journey here. So we're challenged in the next age of Leo for rapid communication. We're doing things in a new way. We're moving things quickly. We're changing the whole flow of what's been going on from the previous cycle. So we're back to balance. So this is Taurus in the moon, in its earth energy. The 6 of Pentacles is a masculine energy, open heart chakra. It's charity and giving. And we're back to gold here with this leonine. Why does it sound weird? Leonine? It sounds weird either way, and it's probably wrong. So anyway, lion, gold, Leo, right in the material realm. But it's definitely that idea of balance. We're balancing our listening to our heart and living in the material world. We're walking softly and carrying a big stick. It's the idea of, a lion is a physical being. It has to kill and eat to survive, but it doesn't mean that it can't be charitable and giving and move through its life with an open heart. So that in terms of and also, so you're a new beginning, you're opening your heart, you're still living in this, you're still understanding that you're in the material world, but you're opening up your telepathy and communicating, and it's a rapid change to this new way of existing. So we have the Page of Wands here, also a challenge. So he's like, okay, well, let me tap into my gut feelings. Let me use my solar plexus, solar, yellow lion. Let me use my solar plexus to help me, lead me where I'm going. He's got fiery dragons on him. And again, we have the sun, we have Leo, it's a fire element. So even though he's dressed in red, he's got gold all over him, and he's leading with his solar plexus, and he's looking out. And then he's got a little pyramid on here. Hey, because remember when it was built? That's why we needed it. Somebody's running a compressor or something out there. Oh, and then the 11 here, 1 or 11, it's like completion and starting a new cycle. And then we have a 6 here with the coins, and then the 8 with the wands is 14, which is balance. And then we have the King of Swords, also a challenge. So look how high we've ascended. We went through this great shakeup coming out of the last age of Leo, and now we're being challenged to rise up in the air. There was, oh, I thought I saw Aquarius on here somewhere. Oh, I made a reference to the star. That's why. And there was Aquarius. It was on the Sun card. And Aquarius is an air sign. He's got this great mechanical device with up in here. I don't know. It's like weird backlit situation happening. This thing is like mechanical. It's like a device. So it's like saying the gears are turning in the universe, and where he's got some chains on his epaulettes here. It's like going back to the idea of the devil card. We're coming out of this materialism that we knew the world was going to sink into. We're opening up the lobes of our brain. We're climbing back up into the atmosphere in terms of consciousness, and we're coming back down with the communication of what the truth is in the world. Okay, so if we think we know what we're learning stuff now, in 12,000 years, we are challenged to open that right up. And it might be that it needs to be done again because of, if we're getting into an information age now, it might wane again and then we have to come back up because everything is cyclical, right? So let's see what the shaman cards are for the next. Oh, see, most of these are in a challenge position too. We have 44, the sacrifice. So like the other time, for the previous age, we got the 55, and now we have the 44. So it's divine timing, plans, the grand scheme of things, but now we're working on foundations, number 4, foundations. And then 4 is 8 again, that's Leo, that's strength. Okay, so we have sacrifice. This time we don't have to give up everything that we've learned. It's very, the imagery is like the King of Swords, but with a woman. Looks like a woman. It's like Sekhmet and the King of Swords. If they got like that thing where it's like, and they mash together. We have an owl, 39. Ultimately breaking down to a 3, but also with 12 energy. So the owl has something to say. In the Wild Unknown tarot deck, the Knight of Swords is an owl. And it's like a wisdom, enlightenment, like a eureka lightning strike to the brain. It's a message of some kind of clarity. Also challenged, the smoky mirror. So we have 47, which is ultimately 11, but it's not quite in balance. It's a challenge. It's like this age is mirroring the last age, but we need to clear something up. It's like we're reflecting back at ourselves, but it's the way we're looking at it is tainted. We have 21, the Gatherer, so that's more number 3 energy. We add that to the 8 from the sacrifice, then we get 11 again. We have a 2 and a 1. It's like the High Priestess and the Magician are being called to this gathering, but they're not showing up. There's some kind of harvest that hasn't quite come yet. So let's take a look at these cards. It's like the work that you laid out in the last age of Leo hasn't quite come to fruition in the next one. What do you need to do to get there? Because people have forgotten where they left off. So 44. Aha. To sacrifice means to make sacred. Okay. Okay. So the idea is that you've been tasked with being in the material world, but what you need to do is to realize that the material is sacred in the way that everything is, and that you need to give up. You need to it's like you need to it's like you don't need to give away all your things, but you need to like release the idea that you have to have the things. It's like, well, you know, my favorite uh you know comic book figurines, or my favorite cars in the garage, or uh you know, my favorite plate collection, or you know, whatever the hell people like, um my favorite video games, my favorite shoes, you know, my favorite um cufflinks or whatever. um I can't live without those. Well, what if you say, well, do I have this because it enhances me in some spiritual way? Is it creating like a warmth and a sense of like mystery or passion in my life? You know, it's not like, oh, does it spark joy? Does it not spark joy? It's like, does it serve a purpose other than I want it? Okay, so what's the owl saying? What does the owl say? Yeah. So like the eagle sees in the day with clarity in the whole situation. The owl comes in from the dark with clarity over the whole situation. All right. So again, they're bringing you messages from, you know, higher realms. You could hear, it could be the ancestors, whoever was living in the last age, whatever messages were put down that you're not quite picking up, you have to remember. Pay attention to, you know, really pay attention to synchronicities, hidden messages, observing facts without judgment, or facets and facts. Oh, okay. So we have the smoky mirror here. So it says in the owl, this is important. Observe all the facets of the diamond without judgment. Remember that the facets you dislike are often mirrors of the parts of you that you do not want to recognize. Do not be afraid of the truth. Okay. So the smoky mirror here has to do with um, there needs to be rapid change and communication and intuition And the owl's like, hey, look at this. And you're like, I don't like, I look fat in that mirror. I'm not looking at that. That's why the mirror is smoky. Does this consciousness make me look fat? No, it just makes you look dirty. 47. Yeah, the shadow of the human psyche, the part that you disown. So exactly like with the other card. State of denial, inability or refusal to see the truth. Okay, so when this information and this heightened telepathic communication system comes through in the next age of Leo, people are going to be like, nah, nope, nope. And we see a lot of that now too, which is probably why this is relevant, like literally right now, this month. Understanding the shadow of the human journey. So it's not just this week, it's 26,000 years of journey. Spit on the book. Fears and expectations of disappointment and unworthiness. Oh. Conditioning. Okay. So what you see is not what you get when you, in terms of the material world. It's like, it's all smoke and mirrors. But what is reality? If you think that the illusion is what is truth, then you're going to be in this position of feeling like you're not good enough. And the owl is saying, dude, it's smoke and mirrors. Like, why? It's like, do you believe that the people in the movie really died? It's acting. Okay, so what's the gatherer? The gatherer. Let's see what's going on with that. 21. Okay. So this is about timing. With the smoke and mirrors, you don't see any new growth or change happening. Okay? The gatherer is like, oh, all of the good stuff grows underground here, all the like roots and nuts and tubers and whatnot. But the person that's believing the smoky mirror is like, there's nothing here. Except for dirt. I don't want dirt. I want golden things and pillows and circuses. Okay. It's an indication of, are you hoarding? Are you hoarding stuff? You don't need all the stuff. Okay, so it's this concept of scarcity mindset, of being so long in the material smoke and mirrors thing, of saying, well, we don't have enough for everybody. Keep all the stuff you can. Well, I don't have enough. I don't have what they have. I want more sparkly things. I want more money. I want more gold. I want to be paid more attention to. Give me the things. So it's this idea of opening up to intuition, to the bigger picture, of being of like a gratitude, paying it forward kind of energy. It's like saying it's like a prescription for how to get back to this energy of loving your people. I love things. I'm grateful for the people around me. I am at peace. I am not in competition. All right, so let's see what the connectors are. What is the bridge? It's like the in the middle of a song, you have the bridge. The hook. Oh, those came out together. I'm gonna get my cards mixed up. These cards keep coming out sideways. That one flipped, but it didn't fall. Ah. All right. I was gonna stop, but it wanted me to take another one. So the overall energy. Temperance in reverse. Look at this giant sunbeam coming down through this sunroof and the dome. I mean, it's essentially fire and water. The angel here is wearing all this golden silk or whatever. Fire and water. So we're mixing the sun energy with what we learned from the moon energy. It's the cycle of night and day. The grand cycle, the yuga cycle of enlightenment and then crash and then enlightenment. But it's not a circle, it's a spiral. So every time you level up a little bit, you know, or it's like if you have a screw that's like fatter on where the head is than at the point, then it's little bitty rungs, and then as you spin around, it gets bigger and bigger. Well, that one was. Let's save that one. And I'll get a few shaman cards for the bridge. Oh, okay, I guess that's it. Eagle. Bird's eye view. I can see the whole situation from my house. And then 16 breaks down to a 7, which is the chariot. So the chariot is 2 lions, or sphinxes, literally the sphinx, moving a cart with a dude in it who's got his eyes closed because he's using his intuition to steer the lions. Let's just skim the eagle. Eagle comes from the east, the place of the rising sun, the new beginnings. So again, the sun, Leo. No obstacles, only opportunities. Yeah, so you're going up to contact higher realms. So it's this idea of not having a sense of purpose. But if you connect to your higher self and you realize that you're not just a person, you're a spirit in a meat suit, then you're like, oh, well, maybe there's more to life than just, you know, working in a cubicle and going out and drinking and then going home and crying and passing out. Or, you know, maybe there's more to life than sweating, bent over in 100-degree heat, picking beans, and then getting deported. You know, like there's more than just work and misery and toil and physicality. All right. So let's see what the bridge is. So these came out kind of together. Challenge of the Emperor, challenge, Eight of Swords. Okay. There's the sun disk behind the Emperor. He's got Aries in his skylight here, but it's another fire sign. And there's some eagles up here on the pillars. It's like the two moon pillars have eagles on them. The sun is rising, the moon is setting. Okay. Unlike in the time of Aries, we want to make sure that we move through the astrological cycles without fighting back and refusing to move on from the energy pattern. We want to be in line with the elements. We have is that Jupiter? Yeah, that's Jupiter. And then also there's a Gemini symbol on the spider here. We create our own misfortune and our own poison when we pay attention only to the smoke and mirrors, and we have ourselves trapped in our own illusion of what the truth is, but we are able to set ourselves free. We just need to go with the flow. And there's the Chariot proper. This one has horses on it instead of sphinxes. But look at all this. They're raining down light from their staff, but it looks like it's like a download from the spirit, and then the moon is over here saying day-night cycles, day horse, night horse. And then the wings here are each part of the brain, and we're getting this download and we're moving forward. There's some Cancer energy here too. So again, it's the idea of flooding of water, and we're being flooded with intuition. This is a huge download that's racking our brain and giving us the information we need to come out of an illusion and get back in line with the flow of the universe. Okay. So we have Three of Coins inverted. Now, usually the Three of Pentacles is the two guys working on a cathedral. It's like a it's like a companion to Foundation, the prelude to Foundation. Okay, so he's working on these gold discs. He's like, yeah, Leo energy. Look how pretty my gold is. I'm working so hard on making it exquisite. Oh, here it's like the blueprints are changing, but also it's a template. When they built the temple grid system, they did it to encase information. And here it's like saying we're not building the template, we're opening it up, we're deconstructing it. Because the only way to get the information is to deconstruct it. You're not going to take it apart brick by brick. You're not doing it physically, you're doing it mentally by deconstructing the template that was left from the last age of Leo to learn to get this download. What is this challenge card that was not flipped over? The Lovers. Using both sides of your brain. Again, there's a Gemini energy like there was in the Eight of Swords. You've made a choice. You've got to make a choice to use both sides of your brain. You're using your intuition. You're getting the information. You're thinking about it. You're activating your Kundalini energy in the pineal gland. There's little snake squiggles here on the bottom of these two moon pillars that look like the number 8. So it's that sunny strength energy. And then the tree here is sitting on this world disc. It's the passing of the ages again. And there's a heart up here. Which would be cups, which is emotions, intuition. You're being challenged to gather. It's like materialistic scarcity. But here, this idea, it's a, what's I trying to say? Bearing fruit after thinking there's nothing happening. Okay. Oh, and there's an arrow coming down, shooting straight down. It's to suffer the slings and arrows. That's a Shakespeare line, but I don't remember it. I remember Johnny Carson saying it. And the repeated idea of a couple of times Sagittarius showed up. So he's an archer. He's sending the information forward. And here, it's the information is, instead of going forward, it's getting brought right down into your pineal gland. Like, what's his face with the apple? I think it was William Tell. Okay. So the shaman cards, number 3, the arrow. I didn't make that up. It came out. I've been looking at it for a few minutes. I did not know the Lovers card was in there. Okay, so the Lovers is 6. The arrow in this deck is 3. We have the sun. We have the moon. We have the arrow shooting through them. We're going up, 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 like the Great Glass Elevator. Okay, it's like saying we're going to take the Lovers, we're going to reduce it to the 3 of Wands so that you can see the future. And this other card that was inverted, that was upside down, is the Andean Cross, but it's in a challenged position. It's number 2. So you have 3 and 2, which is together as 5. It's change. It's like the Empress and the High Priestess. There's like hieroglyphic writings on here. But look at this, it's gold. Okay, so this is a stylized cross, It's got a hole in the middle that's round, so we know we're talking about something that spins. And there's 12 points on the outside, so it's the precessional cycle. And it's gold for Leo. I wonder if it's upside down because Leo's in the south, if I remember correctly from the video that I watched the other day. Yeah, one going down, one going up. Like a balanced seesaw. So let's do the arrow first. Yeah, no. Okay, I guess I'll do the other one first. Represents the cosmology of the shaman. 4 cardinal directions, upper and lower worlds, and the steps to reach them. Gateway to interdimensional travel in the middle. Proverbial eye of the needle to go through to experience higher states of awareness and wisdom and to break free of linear time. So the whole idea is what they were talking about in the last age of Leo, this heightened consciousness, the being in connection with the higher worlds, being able to travel astrally out into the universe, through this wormhole, by understanding the energies available in the precessional cycle and where things are in the universe and when you can go through these gateways. Okay, because it's inverted though, it says the window of opportunity has closed. Wait until conditions in heaven line up again. So the last age closed out, and now you have to wait through the whole cycle back to Leo again to get through this portal. You know, you have to put in like more effort than is reasonable. So you need to like be still and wait for the timing. So the arrow, when your alignment with your heart and soul, you are on target and will soon be hitting your mark. Release attachments and free yourself from the bondage of unbridled ambition. So with the smoky mirror, how was it? These two, give me stuff, pay attention to me. Rat race. This is freeing yourself from that. That's what the bridge is. Where your intention meets the material world. Set your creativity free. So you want to be relaxed, but still focused. Release your intention and let it land where it's supposed to, not where you want it to. Okay, so it's like leading the chariot. You send the arrow with your mind, close your eyes, and let that gut solar plexus energy pull you forward. It's like Batman throwing his little bat hook thing on the building and then he just hits the button and lets it drag him up. It's like that. You know, the dark night of the soul. But now you're using your mental tools, your psychic tools to bring you where you want to be. You know, you have to lay the track, shoot the arrow, and then the train will bring you there. Because the chariot is like a train. Yeah. Because when you set your intention, when you're balanced, when you set your intention, when you're balanced, you'll be led to where you need to be. You don't have to force it. You say, okay, this is, it's heart-centered manifestation, co-creation. You bring the spiritual down into the physical world, which is what the Egyptians were doing when they built the Sphinx and the temple complex. But in the next age of Leo, it's about manifestation and bringing down esoteric knowledge. It's like performing magic, but not for gains, but for the highest good. It's creating abundance. Where the hell is the Gathering card? I had it in my hand. Where does it go? I can't find it. 20 cards here and I lost it already. There it is. It's creating this abundance. So all you have to, so people don't have to fight over anything. It's saying, you know, we're going to be co-creating in the universe from a heart-centered space, like that Six of Pentacles, Six of Coins here. Co-creating in the material world. So there's abundance, so that everybody can just be at peace. Okay. And I'm also getting a hint of the age of Aquarius, let the sun shine in. And the sun is Leo. So that is my age of Leo reading, and I'm sure that might have some information that's useful for your day-to-day. I'm just gonna, let's see, my shine. So it's probably not gonna focus. Well, anyway, this is, if you want to order a reading, I've got a bunch available. You can find them on the infomercial video. It's in the description box there, and I'll put a link to it. So you can tweet me at thecatcameback. You can order a reading, PayPal.me, CATtheMinion, Cash App, Venmo, CATtheMinion. I've got merch like this guy here on Cafe Press. I've got prints like this guy here on DeviantArt. And if you are not sure about how to order a reading, or you can't find the description box in the infomercial video, you can email me at thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. If you want to see any more artwork or what I'm currently working on, you can check out my Facebook, which is TCanyon Art. If you want to donate, you know, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. If you want to give me a like, that would be great. If you want to share, that would be great. And do please subscribe. It's very low commitment and it helps me out a lot. Just want to say thank you for listening. I appreciate everybody. I really hope this helps. We are currently in the time zone of Leo, so I think this should be really helpful. And there's also supposed to be that Leo portal on 8/8, so definitely keep an eye on these concepts here. All right. Take it easy, everybody, and there we go. Yeah.